Welcome, brothers and sisters, for the same episode on the companions or disciples of Jesus Christ. Now, still on this, we know that there are 12 disciples of Jesus Christ, and we are looking at the lives of these people briefly, how they protected the region of light and left it moving after the demise of Jesus Christ and the resurrection, or the taking away to God. God who took him, as Allah says in the Quran, وَقَالَ اللَّهُ يَا عِيسَى إِنِّي مُتَوَفِّيكَ وَعَرَّفِيكَ إِلَيَّ أَوْ مُطَهِّرُكَ وَبُرِّفَيُّ مِنَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا and so on. Now, raising of Jesus Christ to himself. Now, after that, they gathered themselves at Pentecost. What says in the book of Acts 2, at what? Pentecost. They were praying, fasting, and Allah sent down the Spirit upon them, and they began to speak of different tongues. This is what the Bible tells us in the book of Acts, 2, verse 3 downward. Now, moving on, who are these disciples, and what was their impact in the life of those people who accepted Jesus Christ in the early days? Now, we see that, for example, Peter, Andrew were brothers, and they were fishermen selected by Jesus Christ. And we learned that it was Peter's house that Jesus Christ had the first banquet when he organized disciples when they were 12. Recorded in Mark chapter 8, verse 14. Also in Luke 5, verse 6, it was recorded that the same Peter's boat Jesus Christ sat when he was giving speech to the disciples and to all those followers. And further, Andrew was the one who brought down some fishes and bread for the disciples to feed on. Over 5,000 were fed by 2 loaves, 2 fishes, and 5 loaves of bread. We see all that in the Bible. What really happened? We discovered from there that despite all their effort in lifetime, when Jesus was preaching to them, preaching to people, they never listened, they never believed. Even it was said that even at Mark chapter 9, verse 2, the transfiguration, those 4 inner circles of disciples, we have the Andrew, we have the Peter, we have the James and John, the 2 sons of Zebedee, sons of thunder, because Zebedee means thunder. They were the 4 people, disciples of Jesus Christ, who followed him to that Mount Olive, where Jesus Christ had transfiguration and spoke with people of old, like Abraham, like Moses, and Elijah, who visited him. And it was also recorded that the same people were with Jesus Christ in his private life. So, how did they die? It was learned that Andrew was martyred, was killed. And Peter, preaching to the people of Rome, in this time when the Rome has some callous emperors, some tyrannical emperors, where he was being crucified. He was crucified upside down because he believed that Jesus Christ existed. Jesus Christ is the Christ, the Messiah. Andrew's brother was crucified with an X cross. X cross. The brother was crucified with an X cross. James, on the other hand, was also killed, martyred. And the other disciple was called James, the lesser one, called James, son of Alphaeus. He's the only one that was recorded in the Bible, which is the book of Acts of the Apostles, 12 verse 2, that King Herod Agrippa, was the one who ordered his execution, where he was being thrown from a high cliff and fell down and died. And also, in some cases, some were beheaded. And we found that Bartholomew also was beheaded. The son, Bartholomew's name was called Nathaniel, the son of Bar. Nathaniel Atama, which was being given a name called Bartholomew, Saint Bartholomew. It's a disciple of Christ. He was being killed. Many more disciples were killed. who became like Philip and the rest. But we could not decipher from history or records of the apostles or the Acts about the death of John, the brother of James, because we learned that John stayed more of his life at Ephesus, where he stayed under a great emperor, that time, Emperor Iranians. It was said that at that time he stayed there, he preached the gospel, stayed longer, but he said he died and he was buried at Ephesus. They were great disciples of that. These are the sacrifice. What do we learn from all this sacrifice? Those the disciples sacrificed themselves for the sake of the gospel. The message we learn from there is that no matter the situation, we should not deny our faith. We should stand firm in what we believe in. And not just standing firm, but having a conviction. Because faith without work is in vain. If you have faith, you must apply work. This is what Hebrews chapter 11 verse 1 says. Abraham, due to his faith, when God told him to sacrifice his son, he took the son out of faith and take him to Mount Moriah for sacrifice. This is faith. Noah, which is Noah, out of faith, that was in the Bible recorded, also in the Quran, that he was ordered to build an ark in his time. He was not an engineer, he wasn't a carpenter, he wasn't even any of the professionals. But he, out of faith, he built a very big ark that even today, China and some major countries find it difficult to build the size of ark that was built the days of Noah, over 4,500 years ago. Some said it's over 5,500 years ago. Depends on the record in history. We see that very long, very big ark. And the cubits are mentioned in the Bible. Very long cubits, which they discovered they could not build. So see, out of faith, he moved it and he built it. There are some prophets out of faith, he took an action. Even Moses, out of his faith, he faced the great king, Pharaoh, telling him to let his people go, without even having the insight that what will happen to him. Probably he might die, might be killed because an emperor. He said he's a Pharaoh, king with soldiers. They might just order his execution. But he was not scared. He went to Egypt out of faith. Despite he was a stammerer, he had a brother by the name of Harun, who supported him in this mission out of faith. Similarly, the disciples of Jesus Christ were not left out. They were having faith. This is why Allah says in the Quran, which I recited in some Surah Al-Imran, 53, 54 and 52, 54. Allah says, when Isa feared about the kufr, but the unbelief from the people, because they were fiercely unbelievers. Then he said, Man Ansari, who will help me, Allah? Qala wariyun, nahnu ansarullah, who help Allah. Allah says, because they stood firm in their faith, courageous. They were courageous. This is what we need to emulate to our lives. We should not be scared of what will happen to us. Having the full conviction in our heart. This little I can say about it. There are more episodes to come. Please, brothers and sisters, please like and share. Share this video for those to learn. Because there are more impacts on this message I'm trying to pass on. My name is Rizal, platform because of Islam. Thank you very much.